Hello, broadcasters. Welcome to episode 148 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name's Geige. I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
Doing great. As you guys can tell, I don't have my video. I'm in Wi-Fi. So.
Yeah, Dan's in a hotel. His internet's struggling pretty hard, so he might be jumping in and out of this one. But for anyone new here, Dan and I are the founders of StreamYard. We do these town halls every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific. We do them for a few reasons. One is to stay in tune with you guys, go through the same flow you guys do when you do your own shows. Two is to answer any of your questions. So if there's anything you'd like us to touch on tonight, feel free to leave them in the chat. We love touching on topics with you, so that'd be great. And then we always mention the three pillars of StreamYard, which are ease of use, stability, and professional streams. So if you're about those three things, StreamYard is the tool for you. I see people from all over the world. Always cool you guys sharing your cities. That's fantastic. We got Oklahoma in the house, Ontario, Canada, as usual with NLTMW. It's great to see all of you. Bonnie from Scotland, very cool. RJ says, I have a question. What is a Stream Deck? Oh, I think hopefully it's back. We'll see. RJ, Stream Deck is it's a piece of hardware that it basically allows you to bind actions to certain keys on it. So something that people asked was one reason why people were excited about the hotkeys feature is they really wanted to be able to use the Stream Deck with StreamYard. So you could basically use the Stream Deck to do things like, hey, I want to go live or change layouts. And then other things people would use it for too is you can even get super sophisticated and hook it up to like your lighting and say like, every time I end my show, I want my lights to dim down, and like you can do all kinds of cool stuff with it. It's kind of like a control board. All right. Drury says, I think hotkeys is coming soon. Can't wait. We do have something about hotkeys tonight, Drury, so stay tuned for that. All right, before I forget, let's talk about the StreamYard shows. We got StreamYard Spotlight. It's the first Thursday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern, where Dana and Kelsey interview some people from the community, people like you. So if you'd like to be featured in that, reach out to Dana. She'd love to have you. And be sure to tune in. Like, it's really cool to see how other people are using StreamYard. We've got YouTube channel reviews with Dee and Daniel the second Saturday of every month. Really awesome show. If you're looking for tips from some of the very best YouTubers out there on things like, how often should I be uploading? What should my titles be? Anything related to your channel. Really cool to get feedback from them. We have Enhance Your Live Streaming with Nick Nimmin the last Tuesday of every month. Really great live stream if you're looking for tips, or really great show if you're looking for tips specifically about your live streaming setup and how everything you can do to improve your live streaming. Nick Nimmin is fantastic, so be sure to check that out. And then we got live stream reviews with Christian and Charles the first and third Saturday of every month at noon PST. Really fun show where they hang out on Saturday reviewing live streams. And then finally, for any additional questions that people have, there's open office 11 a.m. Eastern Tuesday, first and third week with Julie and Mel. We did have a fun fact for tonight. Hopefully Dan can answer it. Fun fact was favorite Thanksgiving dish. And one reason we do these is to also learn more about you guys. So feel free to answer it yourself. We'd love to know what your favorite Thanksgiving dish is. What's yours, Dan?
Man, definitely turkey.
You stole mine. I was going to say turkey too. It's all
right, I'll give you a second one. Huge fan of sweet potatoes. They don't always, I guess it depends on the family. We don't always have sweet potatoes at Thanksgiving, but I just love them in general. So that'd be my second. But yeah, turkey, number one.
Yeah, my number one is definitely turkey. And then my second favorite would probably be maybe regular mashed potatoes. Probably my second favorite with gravy.
Cool.
All right. We had a couple questions, and then we also had some announcements tonight, which should be fun. First question, a bit random, but I'm just curious. Recently, we announced increasing the recording limits. I was just curious how many of you actually do recordings for that long. Like, how many of you are actually recording things for like 4 or 5 hours, where you're actually using the recording? Maybe it's not very many of you, but I was just curious, those of you that do, what kinds of content you're creating. Larry says, do you think it will be possible in green screen mode to be able to shrink yourself down and put yourself in the left corner, for example? So it's not possible now, but that's really cool idea, Larry. I guess it's like you're essentially wanting to use green screen to almost share slide decks. It's certainly possible. So yeah, we'll look into it. Let you know if there's any other details you have around like how you might want it to work. Definitely either in the chat here or email contact@streamyard.com. We'll know what else you'd like to see with that. Mario says, I like the new video tap on StreamYard. You're talking about the video library, Mario? Let me know. I'm curious if that's what you mean. That was actually another question we had for tonight. Oh, video tab. Oh, yes, that is the video library. So that was another question I had for tonight is how many of you are actually using the video library and what you think of it? It was something we've fully released last week. So I was just curious how many of you are actually using it, and if you're a fan or if there's things you'd like change, let us know.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, it's the new tab. So when you're on the dashboard, there's a tab on the left called Videos, and it just shows all of your recordings. So it's not quite the same as past broadcasts, which shows all of your broadcasts, but you could have like deleted a recording, for example, or maybe just something wasn't recorded in the first place. Like if you're on the free plan, nothing's recorded. So the Videos tab is really just everything that's actually been recorded. It has like a nice thumbnail. You can kind of view some stats about it.
Cool. Future Carman says, why don't you all ever use I'm guessing that was ticker, maybe ticker for the town hall. It's a good question. I don't have a great reason for you. Future cars, I guess. Ticker, I guess, is just usually for like some sort of announcement you want people to know about and constantly see in the background. And usually our format sort of just to announce it and discuss it, but maybe we'll come up with some clever use cases. Anita says, how to connect
one today.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to add one. Anita says, how to connect GoPro with StreamYard. I believe support will be the best resource to make sure, in case I'm mistaken, Anita. So you'll definitely want to message streamyard.com/contact, just the live chat. They'll know for sure. But I believe the GoPro, you can just use something like a cam link, like GoPro to the Elgato cam link, which takes in the HDMI, and then you can essentially use it like a webcam. That's one way you could use it, or any video switcher like the A10 Mini would be another thing where you should be able to connect a GoPro to that and then use it as a video source. Let's see if we have any other questions here before we get to some of our announcements. John Wilmot says, any chance of any sort of integration with Patreon? Yeah, John, there's definitely a chance of that, especially now that we have some of the hosting stuff. I'd be curious how exactly you'd like it to work, if it would be just hosted videos or something connected to unlisted YouTube lives. Let us know. But yeah, it's definitely a platform we're interested in integrating with.
Yeah, I'd also be interested. Well, I mean, you kind of already said it, but just what exactly you're interested in, like live streaming just to Patreon. So you have like a special live stream for your patrons, or something else maybe. Maybe as a way of like promoting Patreon, something like in the studio that integrates with Patreon. Very curious.
Anna says, batch upload has been an epic game changer to my workload for collaborative streams. Can't thank you enough. Any chance batch deletes coming soon? Awesome, Anna. Glad you're a fan of the batch uploads. Batch deletes, I don't have a date for you, but it is indeed coming soon. So stay tuned for that one. All right. Should we go ahead and get into our first announcement, Dan?
Cool. Let's do it.
So it's not live yet, but it'll be rolling out tomorrow morning. It's one that has been anticipated for a super long time, so I think you guys will be excited for it. And that is Teams. Some of you actually have access to it now. Thank you for the early testers of it. We really appreciate it. So everybody should have formal access to it. It'll roll out in batches. It'll either be early tomorrow or the day after that. We actually have a video walkthrough of it, which I'll play for you. Anything before we run the video, Dan, to mention? I think we might have lost Dan again. So I'll just go ahead and play the video. Sounds like you guys are pretty excited. Glad to hear that. All right, here we go. Hi, my name's Geige, and I'm one of the founders of StreamYard. Until now, collaboration has been a bit difficult in StreamYard, and that's why I'm so excited to announce StreamYard Teams. Let's jump into it. StreamYard Teams lets you invite team members to your account. To invite members, let's go to the Members tab on the left. As you can see on the banner above, we're celebrating the launch of Teams, and for a limited time, you can invite one team member to your account free of charge on any plan. If you're on a paid plan of StreamYard, we're also offering the Teams add-on at a significantly reduced rate. You can find the details if you click that claim discount button. But for right now, let's just jump through the process of inviting a single team member. So I'll go ahead and click the invite team member button. First, I'll need to create and name my team. For this example, I'll just go ahead and name my team Geige's team and click next. To invite a team member, I just need to enter their email address. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and invite Dana. So let me just enter her email right here. I'll also need to go ahead and assign Dana a role. You can learn all about roles by clicking the link below, which goes to our support guide. But just to give you a quick summary, the admin role essentially allows Dana to do everything that I can do as the account owner. She'll be able to change destinations, create broadcasts, go live. Most of my abilities she'll have as well. There's also the co-host option, which limits Dana's abilities to most actions inside of the studio. This could be things like showing comments or banners, things like that. For this example, let's go ahead and select the co-host role. Now I'll go ahead and send the invite, and Dana should receive an email.
Hey, it's Dana. Let's walk through accepting the team invite. Once you've been added to a team, you'll receive an email invitation. Open the email and click accept.
I'll have to log in to join this team. Awesome. Now I'm part of his team.
Since I'm added as a co-host, I don't have the create a broadcast button. This is because I can only assist in the broadcast studio. So once Geige creates a broadcast studio, I'll be able to enter the studio and show comments, banners, add shared screens, things like that. I can leave the team at any time by clicking Team Settings and Leave Team. I can also switch back to my team by clicking the team toggle in the top left and then clicking back to my own team.
Now I can see that Dana has accepted my invite. I can change her role at any time to admin or back to co-host. I can also remove her from the team if she's no longer a team member and needs to be removed. Next, let's go ahead and create a broadcast so we can see what it's like to work with a co-host during a live broadcast. So I'll go ahead and create a broadcast. I'll just do a record only and call it test. I'll just go ahead and enter the studio. And let's invite Dana so that we can see what her view looks like and the types of actions she can take inside of the studio.
I'm now entering the studio as a co-host. I can test my camera and my mic. I click enter. As a co-host, you'll see I don't have the go live button, but I can do things like show comments, show banners, and change the layout.
As the host, I can actually start the recording. So I'll go ahead and do that now. This is just a test, so I'll only record for a few seconds here and then go ahead and end the broadcast. Again, as the host, I'm the only one that's able to end the broadcast. So I'll end that, and then we'll both take a look at what our personal views look like of the past broadcast. So in the dashboard, both Dana and I can view our past broadcasts, but only I will have the option to actually delete or download the recording. If Dana was an admin, she would also have the ability to do those things as well. If I ever need to add more members to my team, I can go ahead and go back to the members section and simply click add more. Here you can see there's an option to add 5 seats to the account at $9 a month. Again, like we mentioned before, this is a limited time offer as a special thank you and to celebrate the launch of Teams. We hope all of you are excited for this feature. We're really excited to see how you use it. Thanks so much. Cool. Well, I hope you guys are excited for that. I know it's been a long wait for that one. I'm sure there's lots of questions, so definitely let us know what types of questions you have. We'll do our best to answer all of them. I already see quite a few in the chat. Meeg says, oh, click the wrong one. I'll go back to Meeg. When someone is part of your team, is it forever until you remove? Yeah, if you add someone to your team, they'll be part of your team until you remove them, but you can, of course, remove them at any time. Meek says, Geige, can you say hello to Codir, Argentinian developers community team? We use StreamYard for our streams. Yes, of course. Hello to you, Meeg, and Codir or Coder. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. Happy that you guys are using the platform. Cat Player says, StreamYard, it's easy to make a new member and team. Yes, right now, I mean, if you just go into the member section, you'll immediately be prompted to create and name your team, and then you'll be able to add a member, Cat. So I think it's pretty straightforward. That video is just sort of a preview of it. We're going to clean it up a bit, and then you'll have access to it to walk through the basics of it early next week.
But yes, should be very simple.
Gabriel says, if you use a co-host or admin seat and then release that seat, can it be used by someone else, or you need to pay something for it? It can be used by someone else, Gabriel. So you have invite someone, remove them, add someone else. You just have that seat that you can assign to whoever you want.
Yep.
Gizzard Gary says, can the co-host add people from the green room?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I just said yes.
Yeah. So yes, Gary, they absolutely can. Some of the things the co-host cannot do is they can't start the broadcast, they can't end the broadcast, they can't download recordings, things like that. If y'all have any feedback on the types of things that you feel like a co-host should be able to do that we haven't enabled, let us know. We're certainly open to tweaking things.
Definitely. For example, actually, so they can show comments, banners, and even brand assets on screen. So they could like show an overlay on screen, but they can't upload new ones or delete your existing ones. You know, like you can't create a new banner or delete an old banner. All you can do is like show stuff on screen. So it's kind of how we talk about it. It's like it's a helper role.
Nancy says, we joined the team's beta for now. All I see is that someone can get their own credentials. Are there any plans to make the permissions more granular? Admin on specific broadcasts, for example. So right now, Nancy, there's only two different roles. There's the admin role, which is fairly comprehensive. Like basically anything the account owner can do, the admin can do. They can add people, they can remove people. They can't alter billing information, but that's pretty much it. They can do most other things. And then the co-host, which is fairly limited in terms of, it's pretty much limited to things inside the studio, like showing comments and banners. In terms of adding more permissions, not sure yet. Maybe in the future. One thing that we likely will do is not directly related to teams, but somewhat related to your question, is add the ability to add people as a co-host for, say, like a specific broadcast. Like if you don't want someone to be a permanent co-host, but you just want them on a specific broadcast, having a setting in the studio itself to be able to sort of designate someone as a co-host for that particular stream. Sounds like lots of folks are excited for the Teams feature. Glad to hear that. Let's see if there's any other questions here. How long will the discount be offered? Says Amy. We don't have a hard date yet, Amy. Most likely for the next few weeks or so. Michael says, since I have a pro account, would I get just the one team member? Yes, Michael. Free, basic, and pro all come with one additional member. So you plus one other on any plan. If you need additional seats, the price will depend on whether you're basic or pro and the number of seats that you need. Adam says, hope Dan gets free K-Cups in his room since he has bad internet service. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so too. He's definitely struggling.
Oh man. I don't know if you guys can even hear me, but I went down to one of the meeting rooms because they had better internet there, or they said they did, and it was actually worse than this. So I had to come back up to my room.
Cool. It seems like it's hanging in there now. We heard all of that. Tony says, Teams great. So when I'm working solo on site mobile, can I have a co-host put up / take down graphics and titles on the fly while they are at home? Yep, absolutely, Tony. That's right. Dan, the co-host does have control in terms of showing graphics, right?
Correct. That's right.
Okay, cool.
That was a yes.
Yeah, we got it. Gary says, if your normal co-host isn't available for a particular stream, can you delete a co-host and replace them with someone who is in the stream without additional cost? Yes, Gary, you can do that. And like I mentioned before, we'll likely have a temporary co-host option as well, just to make that a bit simpler. Tristan says, can you buy seats now and allocate them later? Yep, you can allocate them at any time, Tristan. Chronista says, when are you going to announce an animated timer for sports broadcasts? Don't have any dates for that, Chronistas, but appreciate the feedback. If there's anything else around that you'd like to see in terms of, like, if you'd prefer it to be sort of like a web source or something like that, or something you'd actually upload, any other details, I'd be curious to know what you're looking for there. Devontae says, is there a producer role in the team's function? So co-host is essentially what we think of as a producer role. Devontae, I'd be curious if there's a difference in your mind, like what additional permissions would be a producer? Because we kind of thought about co-host and producer as the same thing, but we might be underthinking it. So let us know. Him said, will there be an update soon for adding more guests? If you mean, I'm assuming you mean inside the studio itself in terms of on-screen guests, him. And right now the max for that is 10. I don't have any date or any specific number, but I'd be curious how many people you need. We're always open to making changes. Anna Maria, I think the similar question as before. It's not fixed. You can swap people in and out if you get a new assistant or something like that. NLTMW says, can one team member see who other team members are? I believe everybody has access to the members tab. The admin definitely does. Dan, if you're live right now, can co-host see the other team members?
I don't think they can. Let me actually check. I'm forgetting.
So we'll double check NLTMW, but curious which way you'd want it to work. Let us know. Awesome, Agent. Glad that it works how you'd expect it to work. Albert says, being a team member, does that mean that you don't need to pass/create access code weekly for worship service? Absolutely. That was one of the major reasons we wanted to add it, Albert. So when you're using Teams, everybody has their own StreamYard account, so they're not dependent on login codes. They can log in at any time without having to depend on anyone else. They can also be members of multiple teams. So if you work with different teams, if you're invited to different teams, you'll have access to all those teams without having to be logging in and out of different people's accounts. Who's Right podcast says, on our most recent stream, the first 3 minutes was removed from YouTube, but was still on the StreamYard recording. No music or other copyright issues. Have you ever heard of that happening? I've not heard of that happening. Who's Right podcast, but if you go to StreamYard.com/contact and reach out to the live chat, they can look into the logs and see what might have happened. The only time I've heard of something like that is copyright, but you said no copyright issues there, so they'll be able to give you a more definitive answer of what could have happened there. Patrick says, will admin also have similar functions of co-host, like adding comments, people, etc.? Yeah, absolutely. Everything. Admin has everything a co-host can do, plus lots more. So they can add comments, add people, add destinations, remove destinations. Essentially, vast majority of things that the account owner can do, the admin can do, with the exception of messing with billing. Rosalind says, please tell me the benefits or negatives of using Facebook events for promoting your StreamYard broadcast. Maybe people in the chat have good advice too, so feel free to chime in from the chat. To be honest, Rosalind, I don't have a ton of experience using Facebook events we obviously live stream on Facebook, but if you mean the events feature itself in terms of like inviting people to an upcoming broadcast, I have heard of people using it that speak highly of it, that they like, especially streams that are more targeted to a specific group of folks, essentially using that event to make sure that everybody gets that reminder and knows that it's happening. So might be worth looking into if you have a very specific set of group folks that you want to see the stream. If it is more of a broadcast going out everywhere, might not be worth the trouble, but I'm by no means the definitive authority on it. So maybe other people watching on Facebook can help you out. Feature request. Producer role can add banners and respond to viewers' comments. So the co-host can add banners, Eric. They cannot add to viewers or respond to viewers' comments at this time, but that's something we're open to. Would be curious if there's anything else there that would be different from the co-host role in terms of producer. Like, would you not want them to be able to add and remove people? If there's any other differences, let us know. And regarding, Dan checked for the question regarding the members, co-hosts cannot see the members tab. Only admins can see the members tab. Pure Adrenaline, yes, admins can also create broadcasts and go live. See other questions about removing and adding team members. Yeah, you can remove and add team members at any time. Lots of questions around that one. So yeah, there's not restrictions there. There's not like you can remove and add people when, like, if your team changes, you can change it out. Teresa says, if the co-host is helping in the background, do they have to be on screen? Nope, definitely not. Co-host does not have to be on screen. They can do things from the background. Gizzard says, can a co-host remove or ban guests if guest must authenticate is enabled? That's a good question, Gary. Dan, do you know that off the top of your head? Assuming you're with us. If Dan might be offline right now. I'll double check.
You're gonna have to repeat it again.
He asked if co-hosts can remove or ban guests, assuming the guest must authenticate is enabled. If I don't know off the top of my head, Gary, but I'll double check.
No.
And Dan knows. So the answer, no, they can't do that. If that's something you'd like to see, let us know. Admin can, of course. Admin can do essentially everything the host can do, including. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Can the admin do it, Dan?
Yes, the admin can.
Okay, the admin can do it. All right. We've lost Dan there. Let's see. We have lots of questions here. Maybe we'll go a couple minutes late. See how many of these we can get through. James Lynn says later, maybe something between the admin and co-host role, like a producer role that could assign destinations and access to create a broadcast. Appreciate the feedback there, James. Certainly something we'll consider. All right, we have. I guess we didn't do the. We still got to get the giveaway, and I'll do the giveaway really quickly and see if there's any final questions. So if there's, let me go ahead and share my screen. So tonight we'll give away StreamYard. We'll give away a StreamYard pillow and the StreamYard duck. If you type in #the_yard in the chat, you'll be eligible to win. A lot of you have already entered there, as you can see. But I'll give you all a few like 30 or so seconds to get those in, and see if I can answer any final questions around teams. Michael says, as the host or owner, I cannot add a co-host while in the green room. Correct? I have to go out and then come back, right? For right now, yeah, Michael, that is how it would work. We likely will add a temporary co-host type ability, which is sort of separate from teams on a per broadcast basis. And that would happen from within the studio, but that's not live yet. Launch for Life says, can anyone on your team schedule StreamYard events? Only the admin can actually schedule the events. Launch for Life. Let's see what else we have here. RJ says, I am blind. Would you recommend the co-hosting feature? If you have a co-host, RJ, I would definitely recommend it. If you're just doing them by yourself, it's not going to be useful at all. But if you have someone that's working with you, I would recommend it. It's much easier to co-host using the co-hosting feature than how it was before. Dan just messaged me that the producer role, lots of people are mentioning, is essentially the admin role. So if you want your team member to essentially be able to do most functionality in the broadcast, admin role is the role you're going to want to use. All right. Josh says, is there any update at this time for the addition of the ability to pause a broadcast in the record only function? No updates yet, Josh, but that does come up frequently, and it's something that we're working through in terms of how we would design it and whatnot. So we're definitely looking into it. All right, let's go ahead and do the draw. Gabriel, congrats. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Dana will reach out to you on Facebook to get your contact information and send you the StreamYard pillow and the StreamYard duck. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. We're a couple minutes over time here, but I want to make sure I answer all the team's questions. So I'll try to run through as many of these as I can really quickly. Devontae says, a producer to me would be the person who controls and produces the entire show without coming on screen, thus not being a co-host. Oh, God. Okay, gotcha, Devontae. So co-host might not be the best name for us then, because the co-host, you could be have the co-host permissions role, but never come on screen and just do things like adding people, removing people, showing banners. You don't have to be on screen. Same with the admin. All right. Biker says, can the admin view your account information? So the admin cannot view any of the billing information. The admin will be able to view things like destinations, your recordings, essentially everything outside of the billing information. Yes. Nancy says, I would love to see a producer be able to create and manage specific broadcasts, admin to specific broadcasts, not all of them. We run many shows and would want to give a producer access to a particular show. Good to know, Nancy. Thanks for the feedback there. All right, let's see if I can find one last one, and then we'll close out the show. Tim is a fan of the new LinkedIn events. Glad you're a fan of that, Tim. Albert says, are we live now with Teams or is it tomorrow? So it'll be rolling out tonight and tomorrow. So stay tuned early next week. Some folks actually have access now. And with that, we'll close things out. I'll run through. I know there's tons of other questions here. I'll run through it after the fact, see if there's anything we've missed. And of course, we'll be here next week to continue answering the Teams questions. There's so much was on Teams that we actually had. I'll just go ahead and announce it now since it was planned for tonight. Was hotkeys. Hotkeys will formally roll out this evening. So stay tuned for that. You'll have access to hotkeys later tonight. This was episode 148 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. It's always a pleasure streaming with you.
Hopefully you guys can hear me. If so, thanks for hanging out. See you guys next week.